It's Christmas time. Oh, hello, everybody. I didn't see you there. It's me, Chris Smith, and today we're going to do an episode that is a million years in the making because I'm going to talk about my top 15 musicals. But first, Blackie Humphrey wants to say hello to you. Okay, everybody, here is Blackie Humphrey. He wasn't feeling well for a little while, but he had like an inner ear thing, we think. But he seems to be much better, and he's had steroids and pain medicine. So I think he should be able to lift a small truck off of a child if he's playing Superman or something. Or that dog. What's that dog's name? Super Dog? I don't even remember. We'll just call that dog Fetch. Anyway, today we're going to do a quick listing of our top 15 musicals. And before you wonder where Boop and Maybe Happy Endings stand, they're not eligible yet because this was the list that I made prior to my trip to New York, and they're still too new to see where they're going to land, but I think they'll land somewhere. And the 15th spot is always ever changing, it seems. Sometimes I'm like, well, this week I like this one in the 15th spot, but for now, this is what the list is, and you may have gotten a hint because they've been up for a few weeks on the wall. But yes, let's start looking at them, and we're going to do a deeper dive into each show throughout the rest of the year and maybe into next year. But this is what the list is. Oh, and before I get to the top 15, I do want to say that shows such as Caroline or Change and Title of Show are always in possibility for those top 15 spots. So is Fun Home, which I love. And so is Sunset Boulevard, and probably others. Les Mis, perhaps, but it's not featured on the wall. Okay, at number 15 is Titanic, a new musical. Now, I love Titanic. I've seen it multiple times. And every time I saw it, it was just devastating. I cried my eyes out. I went with my sister. I think I went with my nephew, little Stefan. I own the DVD of the London production that was filmed, and it was also shown on the big screen. I just love Titanic, and when I first heard about Titanic, I was like, a musical about the sinking of the Titanic? Ay, Dios mío. But it really works. It really does. At number 14 is Sideshow. That show about the Siamese twins, the conjoined twins, Violet and Daisy Hilton. It's a true story. When I first saw Sideshow, I flew all the way from West Virginia, where I was visiting my family at Christmas, to New York on Christmas or on New Year's Eve, and just to see Sideshow. And it was magical. And going to New York on New Year's Eve is not for the faint of heart. In those days, they would do shows that were in the evening. Now they seem to get the theater people or, the cast and stuff out of the city before, the midnight hour. But, love it. Love Sideshow. At number 13 is none other than Avenue Q. Avenue Q is a very special show to me because anyone who grew up with Sesame Street was really drawn to Avenue Q. I went with my friend Rob Stevens when we saw it on Broadway, and he said, "This isn't a Broadway show," and he just didn't get the whole thing. But he was older than me, so he didn't grow up with Sesame Street. But Avenue Q teaches us about what happens after college, how we need to have purpose, or we want to have purpose with our lives. It's about a chosen family, the people that you live with who are your neighbors and your friends, maybe finding first love, and it's all with puppets, and of course some human characters as well. I just thought that Avenue Q is so funny, and it's touching, and the music is good too. That's so important. At number 12 is Newsies, the musical. Of course, starring Jeremy Jordan, but I'm sure other people have starred in it since then. Corey Cott, for one. Newsies, I never really saw the movie until later, so I didn't grow up loving the movie Newsies like some of my friends. But that Broadway show, the choreography, the high stakes that the characters who are newspaper boys go through, battling big giants of industry. It's a whole David and Goliath type thing, and that is very, very powerful. And it's from Disney. And the music, again, the music is so good. Thank you, Alan Menken. At number 11, this one moved around and settled at number 11 for now. It's Waitress, starring Sarah Bareilles. Well, it's written by Sarah Bareilles. Different people have played the waitress, Jenna. But of course, in the filmed version, filmed on stage and shown in the theaters, and is, I think, on HBO Max now, Sarah Bareilles is playing the role. And what I like about having the author playing the role is it adds something extra special to it, because this is the person who wrote it, and she's able to go into her show, which is very rare. You can have Sting do it. Trying to think of the people who have been able to do that, and the list is not that long. And she's the starring role too. It's not even like the author going into a play or something, and it's not a big role, but the role of Jenna is the star, and she finds herself pregnant and drawn to her gynecologist and in an abusive relationship with her husband Earl. There's a lot going on in Waitress, and it's a very deep show. I think it's much deeper than people realize. Yes, so at number 11, Waitress. Now, at number 10 is Hairspray, the Mark Shaman, Scott Whitman musical, about Tracy Turnblad, a girl in the 60s who wants to change the world and wants to dance while she's at it. It has a lot going on in it, and it is a very important show. And Harvey Fierstein is in it as the mother. Marissa Jarrett Winokur, directed by Jack O'Brien. Jerry Mitchell did the choreography. Jerry Mitchell of so many shows. Yes, Hairspray is an incredible show. I can't say enough about it, so I won't say anything else. At number 9, and don't worry if you can see parts of the other posters on the wall, it's not a secret, so we're just talking about them. So that's why I didn't cover them and did a big unveiling or anything. It would have been dramatic, but I just don't have the energy. Into the Woods, you got to have a Stephen Sondheim musical in there somewhere. And here it is. Into the Woods, it's fairy tale characters in the first act acting out their fairy tales as pretty much written, and then everything goes to hell when the giant gets loose and starts killing people in Act 2. So good, so smart. Much more over my head than I would like to admit, but I'll admit it. Of course, Stephen Sondheim is a brilliant and genius, so of course his lyrics would be over my head. At number 8 is Gypsy. Now you might be wondering why Audra's Gypsy is there and not, say, Ethel Merman. Well, I just saw Audra, and that's the poster that I most recently got of Gypsy. I could have thrown up my Patti LuPone. Do I have one of Patti LuPone? I could have thrown up my Bernadette Peters. I don't have a Tyne Daly one, and I don't have the Ethel Merman one. So Gypsy represents all the gypsies that have come and gone. The story of Mama Rose. Gypsy is based on the story of Gypsy Rose Lee, the famous stripper, but they focus more on her mother, Madame Rose. Gypsy is, I think, a perfect book. Now, this time when I saw it, there were some things that I'm like, Rose sure did fall in love with Herbie really fast, but, I'll overlook it. It is a musical, and you only have so much time to get the story going. But maybe that happened. Maybe people fell in love faster back then. I don't know. Okay. At number, what are we up to? 7. Get ready. Legally Blonde, the musical. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, that's an awfully fun and light and fluffy show to be at number 7 in my top musicals. But I think Legally Blonde is just about a perfect show. The book by Heather Hach. Is it Hach? I never know how to say these last names sometimes. It moves so quickly, and the lyrics and the music just go so fast, and it just keeps the show moving. It's so tight and so much fun. The music is incredible. Lawrence O'Keefe and Nell Benjamin bring us the music and lyrics. And I was watching it again this past weekend online, and I just think that Legally Blonde is pretty much a perfect show. I'm sorry. I don't apologize. I love it. I do. Now at number 6, get ready. It's a classic. She Loves Me. Now, there aren't a lot of classics on my wall. I mean, the older classics. You're not going to find an Oklahoma up there or something like that. You won't even find Miss Saigon. But She Loves Me from, yes, She Loves Me is by Bach and Harnick, and the book is by Joe Masteroff, and it's set in a perfumery where lovers who have only met through the Lonely Hearts letters and exchange mail in their P.O. boxes have fallen in love, but in the workplace they hate each other, which I always wanted to happen to me at work, but it never did, and now I'm just too old and tired to fall in love with anyone in the workplace. Oh, it's hard enough just going there and trying to work, or looking like you're working. To impress somebody romantically at the same time, exhausting. Okay, now we're ready. Oh, and also they did movies of She Loves Me, and you've got Mel is based on She Loves Me, which is based on Shop Around the Corner. And it's all a thing. It's just, She Loves Me is a classic, and it has been around for 1,050 years. Okay, now we're ready for the top 5. Okay, get ready. Okay, Little Shop of Horrors, I really do think that it is another perfect musical. And it's based on a horror movie, and it has heart, it has characters that you love, that music with those doo-wop girls. I mean, this show has it all, and a man-eating plant. What more could you want? Of course, at number 4 is A Chorus Line. This was the first Broadway poster I ever got, and you can almost see the dent located right there. It came that way, and it was devastating, but I didn't exchange it because it was mine and I like it. A Chorus Line. Again, a perfect show. Dancers who are professional dancers are auditioning for just the chorus spots. There's only so many spots available. Will I get this job? I've got to get it. It's something that everybody can relate to. You don't just have to be in the arts or to be a dancer or an actor or anything. Anybody that wants something really badly can relate to a chorus line, I think. Okay, sorry if we're moving fast, but we've got to move fast. At number 3, it's Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty's Once on This Island. It's based on the book My Love, My Love. And I just love Once on This Island. I think it's one of the most romantic things I've ever seen. It really is a special show. And it was one of the first musicals that really grabbed me when I was in college. Like a lot of kids, I could only see Broadway things on the Tony Awards. And every year I would find a show that jumped out and grabbed me, and that was my show. Now there's more than one show that grabs me, luckily. But that year it was Once on This Island. I think that's the same year as Will Rogers Follies, right? Which I also loved. I mean, I love lots of things, and they can all compete against each other. And sometimes you just want certain ones to win, and sometimes you just don't know who should win. But Once on This Island, T. Moon, an orphan, raised by her parents who adopted her after she was washed away in a flood, in a terrible hurricane, and she meets a young man from the other side of the island, and he's a richy rich, and she's from the poor side. It's a classic love story, and there's gods in it too. So they have to adhere to the gods. Yes, Once on This Island. And tragically, I didn't get to see the tour of the revival when it was touring because it was right when the pandemic shut everything down, that it was coming to LA. At number 2 is Falsettos. Falsettos from William Finn. Oh, who we lost. Don't look, you'll see what the number 1 show is. But it's okay. As I said, it's not a secret. Falsettos I saw 10 times in the theater when it was on tour. I saw it twice in San Diego. And then, and I believe Carolee Carmello was playing the mother. But then when the touring cast came to Los Angeles, Carolee Carmello returned to her role as one of the lesbians, the kosher caterer. But yes, Falsettos is one of those that grabbed me. I didn't even know you could write a show like Falsettos. It was just so much like life. I mean, my goodness. Family. It was set in the 80s. It dealt with AIDS. It dealt with marriage. It dealt with neighbors. Again, chosen family as well as family. What happens when life, the unexpected happens, and and life throws you a curve. All these characters get curveballs thrown at them. And baseball is involved in it too. So it's very fitting. Okay, and now it's time for the number one. I'm sure you've seen it in the background. I could not hide it. I don't care. It is Rent, the Jonathan Larson musical based on La Boheme. And look, I put Jonathan Larson's poster from the Jonathan Larson Project right next to it so he could proudly look on at his classic work. Now, some people might disagree with this choice. It's my list, so I can do what I want. But Rent is very special to my family. It is the show that me and my niece, Sharon Joanne Frances Zuckerwar, went to see in New York. I was already obsessed with it from, all the headlines and everything about how Jonathan Larson, the creator of the show, had passed away on the night of their dress rehearsal when they were about to open off Broadway. And then it just blew up. And so by the time I went to see it, I didn't know the music very much because the cast recording wasn't out yet. But I did know that I loved it. And then Sharon loved it. And then we took it to the family, especially when the cast recording came out and we could share it with everybody. Everybody in my family loved it. We would jump up and dance on the picnic table and sing La Vie Boheme. People thought we were crazy at family reunions. But we did it, and we didn't care. And again, Rent is one of those shows, like Falsettos, that it's right about what you know. It's people's friends. It's again, this is a theme in shows that I like. Chosen family. Your friends become your family. Because your family, you can't always count on your blood family. But you can always count on your chosen family. Unless you can't, of course. But in Rent, you can. It's set in New York, so that's a big mark for it. I love the characters. I love the music. It's very tragic all around, from real life to in the story. Angel, all the characters, Mark Collins, Collins and Mark Cohen. Yes, all of them, Joanne, everybody. It's I can't rave enough about Rent. And I liked the movie too. I know that some fans didn't love the movie. I loved the movie. I didn't like that some of the songs were left out, but at least they were filmed and you can see them on the on the outtakes or whatever, the extras. But we're going to talk about all these in more detail. And but Rent, it's just too special to me to. I did a whole video with my family talking about how much we love Rent, and that's why it's at number one. But like I said, some of the list fluctuates a little bit, but that top 5 is pretty solid and never really changes. Rent, Falsettos, Once on this Island, A Chorus Line, and Little Shop of Horrors. Yeah, those are pretty solid. But let's talk about your favorite musicals in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. Okay. And I will talk to you the next time that it's Christmas time. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.